What's going on YouTube? You already know it's your motherfucking boy, the back end child. We back at it again on the motherfucking videos. Today we got this video, this murderous history of rappers. I don't even know how the fuck to say that. Before we get into the motherfucking video, I hope everybody like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into the motherfucking video.
So the EOS is 1090 Jake. When I'm rocking with y'all rocking with me. And for this video, let's get right into it. When it comes to killer rappers, a few names may come to mind. But just outside of Houston, Texas, a new killer would emerge into the spotlight with a smile.
A reign of terror. Now documented gang leader Queso1k will spend life in prison. He killed 5 people in 4 months and pled guilty to it.
A judge sentenced him today after prosecutors showed some of these murders were captured on video.
When Cavazos drove by with other gang members shooting. Dozens and dozens of rounds.
Gang, we gon' come to the shooting in 100 out. Nigga playing, get popped in his forehead. Run the boats on the drug, get him all dead. Spin the block, then we left about 4 days.
Shamil McGowan's son Brian was shot in his car in September 2019.
He kept hunting my son down like an animal. Sheriff, what's the location of the emergency?
If you're on my side, my click switching. These niggas gon' start click switching. These niggas switch clicks every week. We don't do no skipping.
My God, man.
Can I help you? There is a lot of gunfire going on outside.
It don't spread to the white boys and shit, but the white boys getting gangster now, boy. What the fuck?
You say what I did and I'm clapping the witness.
Well, he look like he living, he supposed to be in a private school or something, boy. Looks are very much deceiving, boy.
A rap beef would turn into a brutal killing spree, and in less than 4 months, a rival rapper was missing part of his skull, while 5 others were left dead. No one was spared. A 22-year-old cameraman died before his camera hit the ground. Grandparents were gunned down outside of their home, and the rapper's mother would even be arrested for allegedly using her old job to find her son's enemy's address so he could attack.
What the hell?
The suburbs of Houston were being terrorized. The feds were being called in. And in this video, we're going to be breaking down the murderous history of Texas rapper Queso1k. Born in 2001, Christian Cavazos Jr. would grow up.
But this nigga 2 years older than me, bro. What the fuck?
Cypress and Jersey Village. With Mexican parents, he'd be nicknamed Güero, a Spanish term for someone with fair skin. He'd play football for Campbell Middle School, and early photos would show he came from a large, middle-class family. Even those on Reddit would point out how it seemed he had a great childhood, and the fact that he was in a 2-story home, or how he and his sister had prescription glasses and she had braces. These were all signs of money, or at the very least, parents that cared. But things aren't always as they appear.
Then I got the drum. Then I got more clips.
What the fuck is going on?
Christian Cavazos Sr. would stand out in family photos, while Güero's mom didn't appear in any. His father's appearance and demeanor didn't match the rest of his family, and he never smiled. It's said both parents would remain in Güero's life, but the influence they had is unknown. As Güero reached his later teens, his appearance would drastically change. He'd attend Cypress Ridge High.
Got 100 rounds on me, can't touch me in soul. I watch my own back, that's all I got. These niggas ain't with me, these bitches ain't with me.
And multiple videos of Güero fighting would make their way online.
Oh
It was
my
clear
God,
Güero was
boy.
nice with his hands, but the violence would quickly progress.
This is
20
insane,
minutes from
man.
Jersey Village was another suburb named Greenspoint, just north of Houston. This was home to a rapper named Cash Out Ace. It isn't clear how or why things started, but when the match lit, the streets were on fire. Queso1k was a member of a gang known as 10K, while Cash Out Ace was a member of Cash Out. And on September 6, 2019, the first body would drop.
So far, no one has been arrested. The shooter still on the loose. Detectives say pistols and a rifle were fired up and down this block.
Evidence markers, crime scene tape, and a stolen SUV riddled with bullet holes, evidence of the deadly shooting early this morning.
Somebody was screaming around here.
Tina lives close by. Her family heard the screams, gunshots, and called 911.
The shots fired, there were multiple shots fired. We haven't even started counting them yet. There were so many.
It's really sad and really feel bad about that.
Investigators say 2 young men were shot inside this SUV. One died on scene, the other fighting for their life in the hospital.
He received several gunshot wounds.
The crime scene expansive, stretching around a quarter of a mile, bullet casings everywhere. Investigators believe shots were fired between the SUV and a white sedan that sped away. However, detectives aren't sure who pulled the trigger first.
At this time, we don't know if they're suspects or victims.
Right now, authorities don't know
This
the
makes some
motive
shit
and
out
have
of
not
a movie,
identified the
boy.
dead man, and they're asking anyone with information to come forward.
It was 4:52 in the morning when the homicide unit was made aware of a shooting on Windfern Road. Just outside of a gated community, 19-year-old Ryan McGowan lay dead in the back seat of a stolen SUV. Ryan was a member of Cash Out, known as Cash Out Spaz. He'd been shot in the back, the bullet exiting his chest. Officers would observe 223, 9mm, and 357 SIG shell casings trailing down the road. Officers would later learn that Spaz wasn't alone. He was with 2 friends, one of which was named Trenton Steele. They were all beefing with 10K, so they drove to 10K territory in a stolen SUV after learning that 10K member lived in a nearby apartment complex. While lurking in enemy territory, they were spotted by a dark-colored sedan that pulled up and opened fire, striking the driver of the SUV and causing him to crash. Trent would pull out the driver as the 2 ran across the street, leaving Spaz in the back seat. That's when the dark-colored sedan returned as a man got out and opened fire on Spaz, killing him. But how did the officers learn all of this? Because Trent sat down with investigators and told them the whole story.
What the fuck?
Technically, Cash Out was the first to slide on 10K, failing the mission so bad not only did one member die, another member ratted, but it wasn't immediately clear who actually killed Spaz. Looking at his Instagram, Spaz's last post would read, "I done lost so many of my dogs, I swear this year for y'all." And less than 48 hours later, his comments would be full of broken hearts. 3 days after Spaz's death, Cash Out Ace would drop a song called Ciabatta. In the chorus he'd say,
Swab smoking pack while I'm fucking on Lilia. Swab smoking pack while I'm fucking on Lilia.
Come to find out, Lily was Wedo's girl. This was the first time the beef between the 2 was being put into music, and Ace just made himself a target to one of Houston's top crashers. 19 days after Spaz was killed, 10K would strike. It was 1:30
19 days he killed somebody else.
Multiple calls for shots fired on Francitas Drive. This was northwest Houston and Cash Out territory. Deputies arrived finding a heartbreaking crime scene. 65-year-old Ramiro Reyes lay dead in the roadway, while his 63-year-old wife Rosalva sat dead in the passenger seat of a purple Charger. Their son-in-law would be found inside of the home alive with a gunshot to the hip. Investigators will learn the couple had spent the night at a hospital bedside as Rosalva's elderly mother passed away. They just made it home, still grieving and tired after such a long night. But instead of finding the comfort of their beds, they'd be met with gunfire.
What
3 months
in the
would
hell,
pass.
bro?
The innocent elderly couple
These
shooter
young
was still
niggas getting out of hand, boy.
and nobody knew exactly why they were targeted.
What the fuck?
It was now December 27, 2019. Just 2 days after Christmas, and Cash Out Ace was recording a music video in North Houston. It was 9:31 p.m. when the call came in for shots fired. Arriving on scene, 2 men were found dead. 20-year-old Gonzalo Gonzalez and 22-year-old Jonathan Jimenez. 7 other people were shot at the scene, including 20-year-old Cash Out Ace, who was shot in the arm and shot in the head. His older brother Abel was also with him and shot 4 times. Investigators would locate 762 40 Smith & Wesson and 9mm shell casings at the scene as victims were transported to local hospitals. Ace would be placed in critical condition and equipped to a breathing machine with a bullet lodged in his head.
What
A week
in
after
the
the mass
hell,
shooting,
man?
investigators would
This
speak with
young
Ace's
nigga
brother
gonna
Abel,
buck
who
wild,
was still
boy.
recovering.
He not even a young nigga. He older than
Abel
me,
would
bro.
tell investigators Ace set up
What
a
the fuck
music
going
video
on with
shoot,
these old
and
niggas,
the
these
address
old
was
young
sent to
niggas,
only
man?
trusted friends through Instagram. Ace had issues with the rapper Queso1k, who was the known leader of the 10K gang. Abel would then say Queso and another man named Rico10k had been threatening Ace for some time now and made threats earlier that day. Abel then said Queso and Rico had killed the old couple in Fallbrook. In fact, the night they were murdered, Abel received a video call from Rico around 1 in the morning. Abel stated Rico said, "Yeah, what's up? Where you at? We know you stay in Fallbrook. We know you stay on Pilot Point." Abel told investigators he used to live in Fallbrook with his grandparents, but doesn't live there anymore. When he saw Rico on the video call, he was with multiple individuals with rifles wearing ski masks. Abel would tell investigators he didn't know how they got his address, and that after the elderly couple was killed, Queso and Rico fled to Austin, Texas for a few days to make it look like they weren't in Houston at the time of the shooting. So not only would Ace's brother give motive for Queso to shoot up the music video, but he named Queso and Rico10k as the ones responsible in a double murder 3 months prior. By now,
So you telling me he killed these people?
and investigators
He
would
told
piece
them
it all
that
together
he
as
didn't
they've
get the
been
death penalty,
investigating
bro?
the 10K gang for
Nigga, you
8
gotta
months,
die, nigga.
and
You the
witnesses
devil,
were
bro.
rushing to come forward. 7 months after Spaz was killed, a female friend of the victim met with investigators claiming Queso10k and Rico10k were responsible for killing him. But it wasn't just that. She provided details to the murder that hadn't been released to the public and was consistent with surveillance video that no one but investigators saw. In fact, she only knew about it because Queso and Rico called her on FaceTime, with Rico admitting that he was the driver and Queso saying he doubled back to get out of the vehicle and finish Spaz off. This was consistent with what Trenton Steele witnessed, as he saw the shooter's vehicle come back and a man get out firing into the backseat of the SUV, killing Spaz. It would also be learned that the reason Spaz and his friends were hunting for a 10K member was over an argument on Instagram Live. The investigation took a darker turn as law enforcement found out why the elderly couple was murdered. Cash Out Ace's brother Abel told investigators 10K members found out the neighborhood where his grandparents lived, but didn't know how they knew. Cell phone records would show in the hours leading up to the shooting. Queso10k was communicating with his dad and a T-Mobile employee. The dad allegedly texted
a T-Mobile employee
to see if she could find an address.
We ain't safe, boy.
Turns out, Christina previously worked at
We
T-Mobile
is not safe,
and reached
boy.
out to a friend who was currently a manager who used her manager's login to find the address. The phone number belonged to Cash Out Ace's brother Abel and revealed his grandparents' address. Queso and Rico were yet again trying to up the score after already killing Spaz, and while in the neighborhood of the address they were given, they spotted a purple Charger they thought belonged to Abel and followed it home. With Rico driving, Queso opened fire. Kelvin, a member of 10K, would be arrested and would be the first to fold on 10K. He'd tell investigators they spotted the music video shoot, so he did a U-turn. Traveling past for the second time, Queso opened fire with an AK-47 while Rico fired a pistol hanging out of the sunroof, and a third shooter named Roman Wise fired a pistol from the back seat. But that wasn't all. Kelvin was trying hard to get himself a deal, knowing just for driving he'd be facing life, if not worse. He told investigators he was there when Queso10k and Rico10k saw on the news that they killed an elderly couple. But he said they weren't sad, they were happy, figuring they'd killed Abel and Cash Out Ace's grandparents. An overwhelming amount of evidence would lead to the downfall of the 10K gang, as everyone involved was arrested and under Texas law, for capital murder, they faced death by execution.
Congress allowed dangerous criminals through our border, including Johan
Yeah, he
Martinez
killing
and
for
Frank
grandma
Lamarcus,
and shit. I ain't
charged
got
with
nothing to
murdering
do
the
with that, bro.
12-year-old girl. And Kamala won't change a thing, so Americans will continue to lose their lives.
Kelvin, the driver who snitched on the rest of 10K, took a plea deal and would be sentenced to 20 years in state prison, with 3 years time served, leaving him with 17 years left. Under Texas law, he'll be eligible for parole in the next 8.5 years. Louis Santee, aka Rico 10K, took a deal for 60 years in state prison and will be eligible for parole in 30. Roman Wise would take a plea for 30 years, leaving him eligible for parole in 15. The only one left was the leader of it all, Widow 10K. 22-year-old Widow took a plea deal to spare him a death sentence and was sentenced to life in Texas prison. He will have to serve 40 years before being eligible for parole, meaning Widow will be in his early 60s before even being considered for freedom. Only 17 years old when he killed Spaz, by 18, he killed a total of 5 people and showed no sympathy. In fact, Widow never broke a smile as both pictures and videos of him incarcerated would emerge as he fought this case.
This nigga happy that he is going to be in jail for the rest of his life for killing somebody for nothing. He didn't even get nothing from that but street cred, bro. Like, it's not worth it, bro.
And speak on his
This shit
recovery
ain't worth
process
it, bro.
as he had to learn to walk and talk again. Ace would continue on his career with his brother Abel at his side. Both men surprisingly still claiming ties to the Crips and Hoover Street gang, although Abel cooperated against 10K by providing investigators information and saying they were responsible for the elderly couple's murder. Even Trent, who went on the failed hit that left Spaz dead and started the war with 10K, would go on to become a rapper after cooperating with the police against 10K. And finally, the victims. 19-year-old Spaz was killed after the hunter became the hunted. He intended on killing a rival 10K member, only to be left behind by his friends and executed in the back of an SUV. The Reyes couple, already grieving a loss, were murdered in cold blood after a case of mistaken identity and a suburban gang war. Gonzalo Gonzalez, a 20-year-old University of Houston student that had dreams of filming movies and writing films, would die instantly while recording a music video for a rapper. 22-year-old Jonathan Jimenez, a friend of Ace, was also killed in the hail of gunfire at the music video shooting. In the end, everyone took a loss. Nothing came out of this but pain, suffering, and a story that will hopefully grab the attention of someone living a similar lifestyle. A story that will open someone's eyes, giving them a glimpse at the road being followed. A road that leads to only prison or death. But hey, it's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all, y'all rocking with me. If y'all like this video, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought. I'll see y'all next time.
Kamala Harris's economic plan is here.
A middle-class tax break, $6,000 for new parents.
She'll lower costs.
Ban on price gouging and cap the cost of prescription drugs.
Now that's what I call an economic plan.
Warning, this video contains themes of violence, death.
I done went through the video. Anyway, I hope everyone liked the video. Catch y'all boy on the flip side.